Hello and welcome to Reel as we close out October. Well, once a quiet farming community, Belchertown has experienced tremendous growth over the last 50 years. St. Francis of Assisi Parish has also kept up with that progress as a result of the hard work, dedication, and prayers of its parishioners. It recently achieved an historic milestone. Steve Kiltonick has the story.
St. Francis of Assisi once said, "The journey is essential to the dream." For St. Francis of Assisi Parish in Belchertown, their 100-year journey of faith was recognized on October 15, 2023.
Happy anniversary!
Springfield Bishop William Byrne celebrated the Centennial Anniversary Mass with Father David Darcy in a beautiful church that once existed only as a dream for parishioners. The history of the parish can be traced back to 1850, when Father William Blankenship traveled once a month from Cabottville in Chicopee to offer Mass in the factories and mills of Palmer. Paula Moran, who researched the parish's history for the centennial, said Belchertown had no one ethnic group that distinguished its residents.
We had no Catholic roots that belonged to the French, the Dutch, the Polish, or the Irish, or any of that. People would live in this community and work in Three Rivers and work in Bondsville. So we're kind of Yankees. We didn't have any affiliation.
The Catholic community eventually grew, and in 1922, Father James McGrath purchased a building on Park Street on the town common. McGrath's task was to transform the building into a distinct Catholic church. The church was dedicated with elaborate ceremonies on June 24, 1923, by Springfield Bishop Thomas O'Leary.
It was paid off in 2 years and renovated with the stained glass being put into it and the paint job, but the basic structure stayed as a Protestant church with the two side aisles.
Shortly after arriving as the parish's first resident pastor, Father James Dunphy constructed a rectory next to the church. Over the next 7 decades, 11 pastors uniquely impacted the parish and made various renovations to the church interior. Samuel Joyle has been a parishioner for his entire life, 90 years. He was one of 10, 5 boys, 5 girls, all of whom received the sacraments at St. Francis. His family didn't live far from church.
Basically, my father made us all walk up because of those people that had to drive cars. There was no parking places really around that time. There was no parking lot at all. Had to park out on the street.
Joyle worked for St. Francis cleaning the church interior and grounds for a number of years. Joyle, who eventually married and had 3 daughters, recalled one event that forever altered the church.
38 hurricane came through and it blew the steeple off the Catholic church at that time and landed down on the front steps of the entryway, but they never rebuilt it. What you see now is the way they left it and whatnot.
Michael and Charlene Forg are also longtime parishioners. When they first moved to Belchertown in the 60s, Father Dudley was their pastor.
He's a fine Irishman, he was, okay? And he had a sense of humor. He was just such a nice man, nobody would ever think of not agreeing with him.
The Forgs, who had 3 children, were involved in CCD, the parish council, and various ministries, and worked on fundraising activities like the chicken barbecue. Father John Ayers was pastor for 18 years, beginning in 1978.
When Father Ayers came, there was just an openness, and he engaged us all, and he was extremely kind. He had a heart of gold.
Belchertown's growth spurt went from 3,000 in the early 70s to 14,000 by the 90s. Large masses were held at the local school auditorium.
We used to have to go over the Congregational Church and have Christmas Eve Mass with the children's choir.
Father Vern Dakota arrived in 1996 with his primary mission to secure land for a new church campus. One of the major milestones in the history of St. Francis Parish took place in November 2004, when Bishop McDonald dedicated a new church on the grounds of an old apple orchard just 200 yards from the original church. On November 18, 2004, the final Mass was held at the original St. Francis Church. Various artifacts and relics were removed, and the congregation held a nighttime procession to the new site. The next day, a full house witnessed the dedication ceremony with Bishop Timothy McDonald, Father Dakota, and a number of diocesan priests. Phase 2 of the project was completed in 2010, when a rectory was constructed behind the church. Father Dakota was well known for his musical talents as a pianist and singer, producing several CDs as fundraisers for the parish. He was a founding member of the Singing Priests, a group that performed concerts around the diocese.
that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin.
Father Dakota would often vacation at the family summer home in Maine. One day, while playing piano and singing at the Kennebunkport Inn, Father Vern caught the ear of the 41st President of the United States.
And George Bush Sr. never saw a priest in street clothes. He just couldn't believe it. They asked him to sing that night at a function they had at the house, and they paid him well.
Father Dakota performed many times for the Bushes, who in turn donated money toward the building of the new church. In gratitude to the Bushes' friendship, Father Vern created a plaque with the presidential seal, which he attached to a front row pew. Father Dakota's untimely death in 2016 at the age of 68 was a shock to the entire diocesan community. Father Michael Pierce served as a temporary administrator before Father Jack Schaefer was assigned as pastor, a position he held for 3 years. In 2019, the singing priest drummer, Father David Darcy, became the parish's 15th pastor. Father Darcy grew up in Belchertown and St. Francis Parish in the late 60s and early 70s.
I loved it. But the best part was it was just a really close-knit community.
His calling to the priesthood while in high school made him realize that St. Francis was always his destiny.
And I'll never forget on the way home from church, it's as if time stopped. I was in the back seat with my siblings, and all of a sudden I was having this conversation with God. And I was asking God, why me? And I realized where this entire conversation took place was exactly where the entrance to this new parish is, where the new church is.
And we look forward to the day when you will share fully in the Lord's table.
Father Darcy is grateful for the opportunity to return home to St. Francis, where its vibrancy is reflected in the numerous parish ministries.
It's a great parish. It is filled with life. It's filled with the Spirit of God. And whether it's in prayer or in adoration or in social justice ministries, whether it's our food pantry or our Take and Eat program, there are so many different programs, MAT ministries, and there are so many things for people to do that are services of love to our brothers and sisters.
Throughout 2023, the parish held a number of events for parishioners to celebrate the centennial year. A concert featuring Dan Kane and friends featured spiritual and inspirational music. A parish mission was led by Father Simeon Gallagher from the St. Francis Friary in Denver. The theme was Living Fully, Franciscan Spirituality for Everyone. The anniversary culminated in a dinner at the Castle of Knights in Chicopee, where a plaque honoring all of St. Francis' pastors was presented to Father Darcy.
I'm overwhelmed with how good God is and how good God has been to this community over so many years. How much the church has played a part of people's lives in so many significant ways. And I pray that it continues to do that and be that for many people for another 100 or more years.
Whatever the future may bring, Father Darcy hopes he can help each parishioner build a better relationship with God and instill a sense of joy so they can overcome any of life's struggles. St. Francis will host the Singing Priest Christmas concert on December 17th at 2 p.m. More details will follow. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonick.
While the former church currently serves as the center of most of the parish's numerous activities and ministries, discussion has already begun on Phase 3 of the church's planned expansion. And it includes the construction of a much-needed parish hall to be located on the church grounds. We send our congratulations out to the parish.